Yeah.
Oh, sorry. We just got off the phone with the former president, and he said this: I am thrilled that a judge had the courage and wisdom to do this. This has big implications, not just for this case, but for other cases. The special counsel worked with everyone to try to take me down. This is a big deal. It only makes this convention more positive. This will be an amazing week.
So right before we went to air, we got the breaking news that case, the Mar-a-Lago classified docs case, that's been dismissed. Wow. I mean, bulletproof. You know, I mean, really. Welcome back to the program. Dana Loesch with you, bottom of this third hour, joining us because I got questions on this. And obviously, I think we're going to hit what happened on Saturday, too. My excellent friend, best-selling author, commentator, all-around badass, Kurt Schlichter, attorney. He's awesome. He's got a supermodel wife. He joins us now via Skype, and he's also kind of a Houstonian now as well. I hope that I hope that you're all right down there in Houston. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. So, I mean, did this surprise you? Did this case being dismissed? There seemed to be some people that were anticipating this might happen, and it was all predicated apparently on whether or not this Jack Smith was actually legitimately appointed.
Yeah, Dana, thanks for having me. I'm not surprised it was dismissed. This is a legitimate legal issue, and there are good arguments on both sides. It is not a complete slam dunk, but Justice Thomas wrote about it in a concurrence. It's basically, is Jack Smith appropriately appointed under the Constitution? And, from my review of Judge Cannon's analysis, he makes a pretty persuasive case that it isn't. Now, you are not insane if you have a different view of it, okay? It's not one of those crazy ones. The crazy Twitter lawyer, and let me tell people, the only lawyer you should listen to on Twitter is me or a lawyer I have approved personally.
He's right, though. He's right.
I don't get these things wrong. I don't tell you what I want to hear. I tell you based on my research and my experience actually trying cases, which a lot of these commentators don't have. If you're a law professor, there's a reason you're not driving a late model BMW, okay? And it isn't because you're super talented.
I love it. See, this is why we love Kurt Schlichter.
This was a real possibility. I thought it would probably happen. It's going to go up to the 11th Circuit. It'll go to the Supreme Court. And we will see what happens. It's a legitimate issue. Look, you can have a different view on it. You can think, well, they're going to make the argument, it's not a great argument for reasons X, Y, Z. There's some authorizing statutes that I think apply. But, the fact that Judge Cannon didn't dismiss this theory out of hand, while all these guys, well, that's a ridiculous theory. She should never consider it. Okay, that's not in the cards. She's going to consider it, and she may very well go for it. And in this case, she did.
Yeah, she did. We're talking with our good friend Kurt Schlichter. And you mentioned that because they're going to appeal this. So then it goes to, what happens after this? It goes to 11th Circuit and then...
11th Circuit. The 11th Circuit will look at it. 3 judges will review it. There may be what's called an en banc where the whole 11th Circuit, or in the case of a giant circuit like the 9th Circuit, just a portion of them, like 5, 10, 12 judges, will look at it and review what the original panel did. And then the Supreme Court can decide whether or not to take it. I think the Supreme Court would. I think this is the appointments of special prosecutors is a classic Supreme Court kind of issue. And remember, they have discretion in almost all cases to take cases. And, the bad Twitter lawyers say, well, they're never going to take this ballot case. They'll never take the immunity case. Of course they will. I mean, of course they're going to take it. What are you, crazy?
Yeah.
It's crazy talk.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't grow up with a mom who was a judge.
See, and that's why, well, and a lawyer who works as hard as you. We're talking with our good friend Kurt Schlichter on this case being dismissed. And because this, she did, so Walt Nauta, she did toss out his claim
Yeah.
We had this on our chapter and verse. Lorraine had covered this, a vindictive prosecution, because he was saying that the DOJ was only going after him because he invoked like his Fifth Amendment rights, and she tossed that out. I mean, it's not like I bring that up because it's not like people can, at least in my perspective, they can claim that she's being partial to him, right?
Yeah. Look, vindictive prosecution cases, and I think I have gone more with vindictive prosecution. It's a very hard argument to make, and I'm not surprised when the judge throws it out.
Yeah,
that's not crazy. You know, we see a lot of things, and they don't surprise me. The Alec Baldwin thing. A lot of people were stunned that that case got thrown out. When I heard all the facts, because enough's been going on where Alec Baldwin's manslaughter case is like on the back page of the entertainment section, under the handicap comic. That wasn't crazy once you looked at it. You're like, oh, okay, I see what happened.
right.
I don't have to agree or disagree.
Yeah, the state hid evidence. You can't hide evidence because I don't know why. It seems like when you have, like, even in like some of the stuff with Trump, like if they wanted to make a good faith argument, just be straightforward about it. Why do you have to do all this subterfuge? Because then you just ruin your own efforts.
Well, look, I think Jack Smith is a bad lawyer. He doesn't think strategically. When I get a case, I fight the case all the way to the end in my mind in the first half hour. I know where it's going to go. And I will tell my clients, here's how this case is going to go. And then it goes that way because I've done it enough and I think ahead. But there are a lot of lawyers who don't think about cases.
Yeah.
It's really remarkable to me.
Yeah. I want to switch gears here. We're talking with our good friend Kurt Schlichter. I want to ask you, this story came out just a little bit ago. The rooftop, looking at the attempted assassination on former President Trump, the rooftop that this killer got on top of, and this is per ABC, was apparently the rooftop of the building that was used for the local law enforcement's tactical staging area where they were keeping watch over the crowd, which then brings it back to how in the world did this guy get on the rooftop, Kurt, of the law enforcement staging area?
I have no idea.
And he didn't use a ladder.
The whole thing is mind-boggling. Look, I'm not a personal security guy. I'm just a regular Army colonel. But you dominate the high ground. You've got somebody standing there with a rifle, just in case. And normally, so when a bad guy goes, oh, there's a guy with a gun up there. I'll go find something else. It's unbelievable to me that this thing was not protected. And here, watching the press conference, the first press conference the first night. First of all, I'm stunned that the Secret Service didn't bother to show up. We haven't seen the head of the Secret Service. But here's the question I'd like to have. Two questions. Who was in charge at the scene? What is the name of the person who is in command? And what is the name of the person in command of the investigation?
Yeah.
And you don't have one. Well, the local guys were supposed to do this. I don't want to hear it. I'm a colonel. You're in charge, Captain. I don't talk to your squad leader. I talk to you, and you damn well better have the answer. And then for this investigation, you got the FBI go, well, we're going to take this part, and these guys are going to take another part. Who do I talk to? What's the guy who answered the question? Who is in command? And they don't have a chain of command. And when you don't have a chain of command, you have screw-ups, and you have innocent people getting killed, trying to keep their family from being murdered. And you have, my God, 1 inch to the right, Dana. Can you imagine the convulsions this country would be going through? 1 inch to the right.
And even with, thank heavens, I mean, that's divine intervention. And thankfully, he's okay. But nobody burned anything down. Nobody burned anything down. No. Kurt, you didn't see entire towns in flames. You haven't seen any of, violent protests, anything like that, which obviously reverse the ideologies. This would be an entirely different story.
I think it would, but we are patriots. We're American citizens. We love our country, and we win at the battle box.
Yeah, the battle box. So what's that? Wait a minute. Let me stop. I mean, you serve in the military. Is that like a special thing that y'all have, or is that like something we can have too? Is it like box fights? Like what is it? Like I don't even know.
I don't know. It sounds totally cool, though.
I would love that. I mean,
I would
battle
love
it
that.
out in a
Battle
box.
box.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds awesome. I mean, for once, Joe Biden stumbled onto something I'm interested in.
I know. Yeah. I've thought, I was like, wait a minute. And he said it twice. I loved his expression. He's like, yeah, the battle box. And then it's like, he realized he said it wrong. And he goes, the battle box. Oh my God. He tried to correct it, but it didn't happen. It's so bad. It's so bad.
When Joe Biden does a speech or an event, it reminds me of that British guy that Lisa Simpson was dating when he introduces Homer to his parents.
Yes.
And Homer's like, hi, how are you? And he goes, that wasn't that bad. That wasn't terrible.
I remember that. I didn't even thought of that. I've not even thought of that. Well, at least nobody's talking about Biden's age anymore. I feel like they've all given up now. They've all given up. Now they're just like, oh my gosh, we just got to hold up. Because I think Trump won the election Saturday, and his VP announcement comes today, and it looks like Rubio's out, Bergram's out, so it looks like Vance and Youngkin. I'm saying that Youngkin needs to be the pick because it elevates Sears. Youngkin brings in all of the Republican non-MAGA voters and a sweater vest, although they're going to need, as Kane noted, somebody taller than Paula Blart to protect him. That seems like the way to go. Is that what you're thinking too?
Yeah, I am. Again, I'm a strategic thinker. I know J.D. Vance. I love J.D. Vance. I'm an Ohioan.
Yeah.
He is he's an incredible guy, and I would love him to be vice president. But to be vice president, you have to win the presidency. I think Glenn Youngkin brings people to the table. There's no one out there who says, well, I was unsure of Trump, but now he picked Vance. I'm all in. There's nobody like that. Also, you put a Senate seat kind of in play in Ohio. Yeah.
And you'll get a super moderate replacement from DeWine. DeWine will have a super moderate replacement until they have an election.
Maybe Rob Portman's kid.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Good night. No.
Yeah. Look, again, I love J.D. Vance, and J.D. Vance is not an actively bad pick. Right. But I think you want to maximize your effects. And I think the way to do that is Glenn Youngkin, especially now when Trump is making a pivot to being, unifier Trump, according to Selena Zito's amazing report. And our friend Selena was only 4 feet from the president.
I saw. She was behind a speaker when it all happened.
Yeah. And she's, we talk bad about a lot of journalists. If a lot of journalists would channel Selena Zito instead of the hacks on MSNBC, we would be a much better educated country.
I completely agree with you. My good friend Kurt Schlichter, I so appreciate your perspective on this. So we're going to watch this dismissal of this case and see where it goes, watch the appeals, and we'll see who's going to be the VP pick today and see if Kurt and I are right. So I'm glad that y'all are okay because are you in Houston right now? I know you're like everywhere.
I'm in Houston. My power's on after 6 days.
Oh.
I got a lot of critique and disaster response. Communication's key, and we weren't getting it. I did that for 23 years in California. I've been through every disaster, Dana, except a plague of frogs.
True. Yeah.
And mostly commanding soldiers.
Yes, that's true. Wow. Oh, well, I'm glad you got your power back. I'm glad that y'all are okay. We will talk again soon. Kurt Schlichter, God bless you. I appreciate you, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.